The Celestial Crown, the most exclusive establishment in the Andromeda sector, had never hosted royalty quite like Emperor Zthar of the Vorthack Empire. The imposing reptilian figure, scales gleaming obsidian under the ambient lighting, cut an intimidating presence even in civilian attire. Beside him walked his son, Prince Kavore, a smaller version of his father, but with one crucial difference. The young prince had been born without the ability to produce the complex harmonic frequencies that comprised Vorac speech. The emperor had brought his son to this neutral space station, hoping that exposure to diverse cultures might somehow unlock solutions that the empire's greatest physicians had failed to provide. For 3 cycles they had tried everything: neural implants, genetic therapy, even ancient ritual ceremonies. Nothing had worked. As they entered the dimly lit establishment, conversations hushed. The bar's patrons, a mix of traders, diplomats, and off-duty military personnel from dozens of species, recognized the distinctive silhouette of Vorthack nobility. Emperor Zthar's reputation preceded him. Known as a fair but ruthless leader, his empire spanned 17 systems. They took a corner booth, the emperor's massive frame dwarfing the furniture designed for average humanoid proportions. Prince Kavore sat quietly, amber eyes taking in the diverse crowd with curious fascination. The young prince had developed his own crude sign system over the years, but only his father and a few palace staff understood it. "Tu Alaran Wisies," the emperor rumbled to the approaching server, his voice carrying the subsonic undertones of Vorac speech. The server, a human woman with auburn hair tied in a practical ponytail, nodded and moved toward the bar. But as she passed their table on her return, something extraordinary happened. She caught Prince Kavore's eye and, with fluid, practiced movements, signed in perfect Terran sign language. "Hello, my name is Maya. What's yours?" Emperor Zthar froze mid-reach for his glass. His son's eyes widened with wonder, then pure joy. The prince's hands moved hesitantly at first, then with growing confidence, spelling out Kethvor. Maya smiled warmly and signed back, "That's a beautiful name. Are you enjoying your visit here?" For the first time in 17 years, Prince Kavore was having a real conversation with someone other than his father. His hands moved excitedly. "Yes, this place is amazing. I've never seen so many different people." The emperor watched in stunned silence as his brilliant, curious, but perpetually isolated son blossomed before his eyes. Maya, seemingly unaware of the monumental significance, continued the conversation with natural ease. "I learned sign language because my little brother is deaf," she explained. "He always told me that silence doesn't mean you have nothing to say." Prince Kavore's responses came faster now. "Exactly. I have so many thoughts, but no one understands them. Forgive me?" Emperor Zthar finally managed, his voice unusually quiet. "But how do you know this hand speech?" "Sign language, Your Majesty," Maya replied, switching to spoken standard. "It's common on Earth for communicating with those who can't hear or speak traditionally. My brother was born deaf, so our whole family learned it." She paused, studying the emperor. "Your son is incredibly articulate with his hands. Has no one ever taught him a formal sign system?" The revelation hit Zthar like a plasma cannon to the chest. In all his searches for a cure, across medical facilities and research stations in 17 systems, no one had suggested that his son didn't need to be fixed. He needed to be understood. "Tell her about the Crystal Gardens," Prince Kavore signed to his father, then turned to Maya, describing with passionate hand movements his favorite place in the palace. Maya's eyes lit up as she translated for the emperor. "He says the Crystal Gardens are where he goes to think. The way light refracts through the formations reminds him of how thoughts scatter and reform in his mind." Emperor Zthar felt something crack open in his chest. Not pain, but a release he hadn't known he needed. For years, he had mourned what he perceived as his son's limitation. But watching Maya and Kavore communicate, seeing the joy and intelligence flowing freely, he realized the limitation had been his own. "Can you teach me more signs?" the prince asked eagerly. "Of course," Maya replied, "but you might want to learn from a proper teacher. There are schools on Earth that specialize in this." The emperor found his voice. "Would such teachers be willing to come to the Vorthack home system?" Maya grinned. "Your Majesty, if it means helping someone like your son, I think you'd have volunteers lining up. The deaf community on Earth has always believed that communication barriers aren't disabilities. They're just different languages waiting to be learned." As the evening progressed, Emperor Zthar watched his son engage with other patrons, Maya translating when needed. He saw Kavore's sharp wit, empathy, and natural leadership qualities. All the things that had been locked away, not by any defect, but by the simple absence of a bridge between minds. When they finally prepared to leave, Prince Kavore signed something elaborate to Maya, who laughed and nodded. "What did he say?" the Emperor asked. "He said that tonight was the first time he felt truly seen," Maya replied softly. "And he wanted to thank the universe for putting humans in it, because apparently we're very good at building bridges." Emperor Zthar looked at his son, really looked at him, and saw not a prince who couldn't speak, but a prince who had been waiting for the right language all along. 3 months later, the Vorthack Empire became the first non-human civilization to establish a formal cultural exchange program with Earth's deaf community. Prince Kavore, now fluent in both Terran Sign Language and a newly developed Vorac gestural system, served as the program's first ambassador. And in a small bar called the Celestial Crown, a human waitress named Maya kept a photo behind the counter. Herself with a young alien prince, both smiling as their hands danced through the universal language of connection. Sometimes the greatest discoveries aren't found in distant stars, but in the simple recognition that intelligence comes in many forms, and humanity's greatest strength has always been its ability to understand them all. Please follow my channel for more videos. One click from you can change my life.